I'm going to make you pasta. Single skillet spaghetti.
Single skillet spaghetti.
You do the whole thing in one pan. You're gonna love this and you're gonna go, why have I been doing this different way this whole time? Especially because it allows all the starch to stay in the pan, which gives it this creamy quality without any cream. Super simple.
Good thing my name is SharionSade, because the moment I make the S sound, there are legions of people buttoning their crisp white button downs and pulling out their Le Creuset to make Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex's single skillet spaghetti. And can I get some extra points for saying Duchess of Sussex's single skillet spaghetti? Oh yeah, I want some comments and some likes for that alone. And if you haven't subscribed, have I not earned it? Well, today I have to talk about the most replicated recipe I have ever seen from a show. And of course, it's the single skillet spaghetti that has taken the internet by storm. Every single time I log into any social media app, there are so many renditions of this amazing dish, and I made one for myself. Unfortunately, and y'all aren't going to believe this, I did not have time to take pictures. I happened to be plating the moment my husband came home from work, and that never happens. Usually we cook together, or we'll buy something, or I'll cook and it'll just kind of be waiting before he gets there because his schedule is usually within the hour, so it's a little ambiguous. Yesterday, I made the single skillet spaghetti, and he walked in and literally put his briefcase down, gave me a kiss, washed his hands, and grabbed his plate and started eating, standing up. And I said, wait, I was gonna take a picture that you didn't even say grace. Like, he just complete savage mode. He had a really hard day at work yesterday. It was just a very busy day. I gave him such a hard time that I was like, well, my food's gonna get cold. I'll just take a picture another time. I'll just remake this another time. And you know what? I probably should have just made the whole thing on camera like I did before with the green omelet. So you can thank him that I'm going to have to actually upgrade the format of the content I was going to give you anyway. So thanks, John. I had to share that real quick because everyone is making this single skillet spaghetti, and I wanted so badly to share mine, and he was going to see to it that I didn't get a chance to do that. So I now have it on my to-do list yet again to remake the single skillet spaghetti. And I'm saying that like it's such a task, but am I really that sad that I'm going to have to make this again and eat it again? No, not at all. Not at all. We're just going to blame him though. All that and more. So let's get started.
Speaking of our pounds of joy,
thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we finally get to talk about one of the most viral moments from With Love Meghan, and that's her single skillet spaghetti. Everyone and their mama is recreating this recipe and even adding their little twist to it, and it has been really fun to see what people have not only done with the original recipe, but also made it their own, which is really cool. Cooking is a really great way to express yourself and try new things, and it's important to be creative. We're not in pursuit of perfection, we're in the pursuit of joy. The only people more excited than Squatties and even Meghan herself about this recipe is Le Creuset, because their sales have increased and it's only continuing. The reign of the Meghan effect is still going strong, and it isn't letting up anytime soon. So before we actually get into all of the recreations, as well as my take on some of these recreations, we have to actually look at the recipe itself. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. And let's look at this recipe.
it's very easy. It's a family favorite, and I think that you will start making this. Put all these in there. Boil this water. You're not boiling a huge pot, just a kettle. Put some salt in, a lot of olive oil over it. I'm gonna put some garlic in there now as well. You put the dry pasta in, you pour boiling water on top, and that's it. I think the brightness of citrus helps so many things.
I'd never thought to use that part for anything.
Such good flavor in this. Don't want to let that go to waste. All of our boiling water, I put about 3.5 cups in, give or take. You want the noodles to be just covered, so I'm gonna turn this on, let it come to boil, and do this for 6 minutes in there. Should we grate some Parmesan?
Oh, yes.
Woo! Still keeping that starchy pasta water. I'm gonna add some greens in now. We'll cook for another 4 or 5 minutes until the noodle is the right texture that we want, al dente. Let's wilt some arugula in there. Thank you. The red chili flakes.
That's so good. This is literally cozy.
It's like that Beyonce song.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to run and grab some grapes or an apple or a banana. Get your nanners. Get something that's going to quell that appetite, because we're about to talk about food, and not just any food, but good seasoned food. We're going to talk about Meghan's food. Now, everybody and their mama is making this one pot pasta, and I have to read you 2 reviews from people who made the one pot pasta. So this first article is from the Business Insider, which I have a love-hate relationship with them. We're going to like them today, but I'm gonna go back to hating them when I'm done. This article was written by Aaron McDowell, and it's titled, "I tried Meghan Markle's one-pot pasta. The easy recipe was perfect for a weeknight dinner." First of all, that looks real good. Looks like she did a good job. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex's one-pot pasta recipe has sparked mixed reactions online. However, for those short on time and in need of a quick, easy meal, I thought the simple pasta dish fit the bill. In the first episode of Meghan's new Netflix series, With Love, Meghan, the Duchess walks her friend and makeup artist Daniel Martin through one of her go-to dinners, which she calls her single skillet spaghetti. The, quote, family favorite pasta recipe, yes, even her and Prince Harry's kids love it, uses spaghetti, Swiss chard, kale, baby tomatoes, and grated Parmesan cheese. It has received criticism online, of course, with some outlets calling the finished product bland and others comparing it to similar recipes already in existence. I want to ask people, have they ever made a recipe that they were the first to make? Genuinely the first person to create a meal? In 2025, many of us can't say that. I'm doubtful that anyone can say they were the first to make anything. I want people to put their swords down. And if you don't put it down, turn it to your own neck. Do us all a favor. The pasta took under 20 minutes to make and used one pot, which saved me time cleaning up. The recipe seemed ideal for people who wanted to feed an entire family with little to no time to prepare dinner. Here's how to make Meghan Markle's one-pot pasta. I started by gathering the ingredients for the one-pot pasta. It's single skillet spaghetti. You done had me calling it the wrong thing too. So she lists out the ingredients. Meghan doesn't list any exact measurements in the scene other than how much water she uses. So I estimated how much to use of each ingredient. Let me just say this. She was making that dish for her and a friend. So she didn't name the measurements because it depends on how many people you're feeding. Hope that helps. I spent $28.10 excluding tax on ingredients at my local grocery store in Brooklyn, New York. I chopped the tomatoes in half and added them to my skillet. You did a good job chopping, and that's a really nice knife. Meghan said this doesn't need to be precise and that you can use whatever tomatoes you have on hand, from a mix of red or yellow plum tomatoes or more exotic varieties like heirlooms. I am a fool for some grape tomatoes or some cherry tomatoes, and I love yellow. I added the tomatoes to my skillet with chopped garlic and olive oil. Is that enough garlic? Well, how many were you making this for? Because I don't think that's enough garlic, but I also love garlic, so don't listen to me. At this point, you keep the stovetop off. When Meghan is making it, she does these steps while the pan is on the countertop. After adding the olive oil and tomatoes to the pan, I sprinkled the entire skillet with salt. I then added the chopped garlic and mixed it with a wooden spoon. These little pictures are taking me out. You were photographing the hell out of this, because these little pictures, you know, I love that you included real pictures and that you didn't go for like ultra glossy poise or posed photo. Like, I'm glad you didn't do like super professional photos, because clearly you made this and you can tell by the photos. I just think it's so funny to see this published, because usually with food pictures, it's really bright and it's really manicured. So I just think it's great that you took these yourself. I then added about a box of spaghetti to the pan. Damn, a whole box? How many people were you feeding? Part of what makes this pasta dish especially easy to make is that you don't need to boil the pasta in a separate pot. Instead, the pasta water comes together with the other ingredients to cook the pasta and make the sauce. I zested a whole lemon over the pasta noodles and then started boiling my water in a tea kettle. It took about 3 cups of water to cover the pasta and tomatoes. Then I covered the skillet with a lid. In the show, Meghan said to cover the spaghetti with water, which she said takes about 3.5 cups. However, the amount you use will depend on the size of your skillet. Even though the water was fully boiled when I added it, I noticed that it wasn't hot enough to cook the pasta fully, since the entire dish had to be brought to a boil. I turned the heat on my stove to medium-high and let the pasta boil for about 5 minutes. While the pasta was cooking, I chopped the Swiss chard. Meghan doesn't say exactly how much she uses, but I ended up using about 3 stems. She recommends chopping the red part of the stem for added color and flavor, as well as the leaves. When the pasta was fully brought to a boil, I lowered the heat and added in the greens. I tried to separate the spaghetti noodles using a wooden spoon, but found that they initially stuck together. You got to let them cook. However, as the pasta continued cooking, they eventually separated. I've also found this when I'm making pasta, something that makes my pasta consistency, the texture, my ideal. Now, it might not be that for everybody, but I like my pasta to be obviously like a noodle, but I like it to still have a little bit of firmness. I don't like them to be completely slush. And something that I found that helps is exposing them to air and then putting them back in. So something that I'll do is I'll take my giant cooking forks and I'll pick the pasta up and just let it sit in the air for like 3 seconds. And then I'll make sure I do that with all of them. And you can do it in clumps, but as long as the air hits them and cools them for just like a quick second and put them back in, the texture and the firmness of it is perfect. It's just, I do it with noodles too. When I make noodles, I do the same thing. It just makes the consistency and the texture perfect for me. If you do this, let me know. Or if you have a suggestion for something as well, let me know. I'd like to try your suggestion. I also added the chopped Swiss chard and a couple of handfuls of massaged kale, which I tore apart with my hands and added directly to the pot. I mixed the pasta with the greens and let it cook for a few more minutes on low heat. That looks really good. Meghan said the starch from the pasta would create a creamy sauce without the need for cream. Even after letting it cook down for a few minutes, I thought it still appeared pretty watery. So I'm going to give you a little advice of why that might be happening. Either you had too much water, a water to pasta ratio was off, or you didn't let it cook on high heat for long enough. And I think that might be the issue because you consistently turn the heat back down, and I don't think things were cooking to the extent that they needed to create that cream. So you might have wanted to leave it up on medium high or high heat for just a couple of extra minutes to help with that. That's just my suggestion. Y'all, if y'all have more suggestions for her that might have helped the creaminess come out, y'all let her know in the comment section. After I added the grated Parmigiano Reggiano, the sauce started to come together. Oh, okay, so that's what it was. You didn't have all the ingredients in there. So no, it's not going to be the perfect consistency, or at least what she described, until you have the ingredients in there. The blistered tomatoes and cheese made the sauce slightly thicker and a light orange color. The pasta noodles were also perfectly al dente. I topped the dish with a pinch of fresh salt and red pepper flakes per Meghan's suggestion. Now, you put a whole lot of sauce in that pan before you put the ingredients in, and then you gave a pinch. Now, girl, you ain't trying to salt bake this. Be careful now. Don't want your blood pressure up. I was really impressed with the final result and by how easy it was to make. I love having a one-pot recipe on hand, especially during a busy work week. This pasta dish made for a quick, healthy dinner. The lemon and slightly blistered plum tomatoes added flavor, while the red pepper flakes added a kick. I was surprised Meghan and Harry's kids would be into it. It tasted light and fresh, and I thought the Swiss chard and kale added texture. Why were you surprised the kids would be into it? So kids acclimate to what they're fed. Meghan feeds her kids fresh food, so I'm not surprised they would have palates that adhere to the food that they've been eating since they were small. However, it was far from the most flavorful or decadent pasta dish I've ever had. Was that the standard? Was that the expectation? Was that genuinely what you thought you were going to get from the ingredients alone? You probably should have mitigated your expectations on that now. I feel like that's a you thing, not a Meghan thing. Still, it was also unbelievably quick and easy to make, and even easier to clean up. I could see myself adding this recipe into my weekly rotation for a quick dinner, though I'm not sure I would make it for a dinner party or when I'm really wanting to impress someone with my culinary prowess. Now, Meghan herself says she makes it when she needs a quick meal for the family. But she also gave examples of the types of food that she makes for dinner parties. I would suggest mitigating my own expectations based on what I'm hearing and seeing from the person I'm obviously adapting from. So I also have a quick suggestion for people who want a little bit more flavor. Now, I'm a person who likes to cook things without too much seasoning, because what I want is when people take a bite, they can season to taste, because everybody's palate is different. And when you cook with your own palate in mind, it might not be ideal for someone else. And the goal is for everyone to enjoy it equally with their own taste. So something I suggest when you want to increase the flavor, but you don't want to have too much sodium, but you do want it seasoned, I highly recommend it. And I am not sponsored by them. This is not an ad. It's just what I do to cook. Mrs. Dash no salt seasoning. And not only did it help my blood pressure come down, but I have stayed eating the no salt seasoning because it is so freaking good. It is delicious. So now I have one more review of the single skillet spaghetti coming from firstforwomen.com. This article was written by Isabel Paquette and it's titled, Meghan the Duchess of Sussex's one-pot spaghetti is the simple royal-worthy meal you need to try. I love puns like that. This easy pasta dish has gone viral after appearing in Meghan's new Netflix series. Now her version looks good now. That looks good. Looks like you did a real good job. All I saw was pasta and tomatoes and you won me, girl, so it's not hard to impress me. If there's one thing Meghan Markle knows, it's how to turn a simple dish into something special. On March 4th, the Duchess of Sussex debuted her 8-part Netflix series with Love Meghan. Fans were quick to latch on to one of the first episode's most talked about recipes, her one-pot spaghetti, or as she calls it, single skillet spaghetti. It's a dish she loves making for her family, including Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, and it has since gone viral for its incredibly simple one-pot method. Quote, when I make this for my family. Not that my children are eating heaps of noodles, but I'll make enough that I can put leftovers in their lunchbox. Oh, Meghan explained to her close friend and makeup artist Daniel Martin, who was blown away by the final dish. So effing good, he declared after taking a bite. Yes, I don't blame him. Good food will have you like that though. What's in Meghan the Duchess of Sussex's one-pot spaghetti? Meghan's version of spaghetti is creamy without a drop of dairy, infused with garlic, and finished with a gentle kick of heat. The ingredients list is refreshingly short, featuring cherry tomatoes, garlic, parmesan, and olive oil. Plus, it's a great way to sneak in extra greens like kale and arugula for a boost of nutrients. Unlike traditional pasta recipes where you cook the noodles separately in boiling water, Meghan allows everything, even the sauce, to cook together. You do the whole thing in one pan, just like making a frittata, she says. You don't have time for all these pot changes. The pan of choice, her signature Le Creuset cast iron shallow casserole dish that she uses for nearly everything in the series. But besides a faster cleanup, the one-pot method also helps the consistency. You put the dry pasta in, you pour boiling water on top, and that's it, Meghan explains. The starch released from the pasta thickens the sauce, creating what Meghan describes as this creamy quality without any cream. Meghan approved tips for success. Before you grab your skillet, here are a few key tips to ensure your one-pot pasta turns out just like Meghan's. Use hot water for faster cooking. Boiling water speeds up the cooking process and helps the pasta cook evenly while absorbing all the flavors. Stir occasionally to prevent sticking. Since the pasta is cooking directly in the sauce, giving it a quick stir every few minutes ensures even cooking and prevents clumping. Now, I want to say this about the last review. She said she had an issue with her pasta noodles sticking together, and I didn't even realize she never once mentioned that she stirred it. Like, girl, Meghan gave you the recipe, but you still got to know how to cook. Like, you got to move the things around so that they cook. I think that's like the third time I've had to say this, but maybe that was a you problem.
Then I can't help you. I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Let's continue. Adjust the greens to your liking. Meghan uses kale and arugula, but you can swap in spinach, Swiss chard, or even fresh, but I was about to say basil.
I was actually going to talk about basil and basil.
Oh my gosh, I've been reading too many British articles.
Americanisms to the Britishisms.
Fresh basil for a different flavor profile. How to make Meghan's one-pot spaghetti. That looks good. Now, wait a minute. It looks like you added in some red sauce. Let's see. While Meghan didn't provide an exact recipe during the episode, content creators on social media did. Food blogger Danny Freeman shared his version of the dish on Instagram, and it now has over 12 million views. We think Meghan would approve. Now, I gotta go look at that. Did y'all see his? Let me know. Meghan makes a big batch of her one-pot spaghetti, so there are leftovers, and this pasta keeps well. Store it in an airtight container in the fridge for up to 3 days. To reheat, add a splash of water or olive oil and warm it over low heat on the stove, stirring occasionally to revive the sauce. Did you hear that last lady who wrote this? You gotta stir it. That's always part of the process. So what do y'all think of their reviews? Now, this one I liked a lot more. She seemed like she was eager to try this pasta, so she did her best, and it looks like it paid off. This looks great. The other lady seemed like maybe she was missing a few basic skills of cooking, and maybe that was her issue. Meghan can give you the recipe, but you still got to know how to. You got to know how to make the foods. You got to know how to cook. But yeah, there's that. But anyway, have y'all tried the single skillet spaghetti? Let me know in the comment section below, how did y'all's turn out? And did you do anything special or different to it? I saw somebody say that they added sausage, and I was like, yes, I'm going to absolutely put andouille sausage in it, because anytime I have noodles, I have to have some form of andouille sausage. So y'all, I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show. So that's all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that more people can find us. That's all. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.